This video is to go over the deep muscles of the trunk. It is to go along with the superficial muscles of the trunk. And again, like the superficial muscles, these are sideways. You may want to just click the play to see them all, or move with this. When you click the enlarge, it is going to go to a landscape mode. And same thing when you click the hotkeys, it is going to go to a sideways picture. I spent 20 minutes trying to fix this. It's now the other way around at least. And I couldn't. It's the same pictures that are in your lab book though. So let us, and when you click on that, it goes right. So, now, our muscle man right here has superficial muscles here, deep muscles here. Now, the muscles actually go all the way across. So these muscles do exist on this side. These muscles do exist on this side. I've had so many students that are confused. So we met the pectoralis major muscle. It is on the ribs. Its insertion is the costal cartilage right there. It goes to the intertrabecular sulcus. This muscle right here, I'm going to be brave and try to blow it up, is the pectoralis minor. It is sitting on top of the ribs. So the pectoralis minor sits on the ribs. Pectoralis major sits on the pectoralis minor. Now, we also talked about the serratus anterior last video. The serratus anterior also sits on the ribs. So the muscles that sit on the ribs, the pectoralis minor and the serratus anterior, are not to be confused with the intercostal muscles, which I'll talk about in a second. So the pectoralis minor is going to originate on these ribs and go to the coracoid process of the scapula. Now, since we are on the blown up view, we have intercostal muscles. Those were between the ribs. So the intercostal muscles actually go all the way around, and they're on all the ribs. So this external intercostal should go all the way there, all the way to the backside. So on our muscle man here, these are all external intercostals. You might want to be brave and blow it up. This is the view you're going to get. So this is the pectoralis minor. These are external intercostals, and they did what that other model did. Those are probably supposed to be the internal intercostals. They are a slightly different color, and the fibers are going opposite directions. But the external intercostals do go all the way through. What I like doing on lab exams is just saying if it's from the external view, on this view, it is all external. Don't worry about how the fibers go. These fibers are going from lateral to medial. And I will test the internal intercostals on a different picture. So since I have this funky view, pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, intercostal muscles, these are definitely external intercostals here. I'm pretty sure those are supposed to be the internal ones. Then we have the serratus anterior sitting on the ribs. So we talked about the obliques in the last video. These are the external obliques because they're going from the rib cage down to the pubic symphysis and the linea alba. If I scroll over here, this is the internal oblique. It goes from the iliac crest to the linea alba, xiphoid process, and the cartilage of these ribs. So the internal intercostals are going the opposite direction. So these are the internal intercostals. They are going upwards. I actually looked through my collection of muscle people. Every single one, the deep muscles are on the left side here. The superficial ones are on the right side. It's a conspiracy. So these are the internal oblique muscles. So these yellow ones are the external obliques. And then I did the internal obliques in purple. So that's another deep muscle of the trunk. Now, I really like using this view for the internal intercostals. You can see this is, you're looking inside. This is the deep part. So here is probably the pectoralis major right there. There's probably the pectoralis minor. We have the internal intercostals on the inside of the rib, and the external intercostals are on the outside of the rib. Ta-da! So I like just saying this whole thing's the external because it's on the outside. Then we go here. The internal is on the internal. We also see the layering of the obliques in this view. We have the external oblique. We have the internal oblique. So it's on both sides. And then we have another internal muscle. This is the transverse abdominis. Yes, I just used yellow on yellow, I know. So here's the transverse abdominis. That's actually part of the rectus abdominis right there. So see how they go opposite directions. And then lastly, this is one of my favorite muscles because of its name. It's very descriptive. Transverse thoracics. It is in the rib cage here. And it is going to contract your rib cage 2 centimeters to exhale. It's probably really just supporting the ribs, but I like that muscle. It's a cute muscle inside. So this is the inside view. So these are really deep muscles. And of course, you can't see those on our rotating model. So over on this side, oopsie, we have some deep muscles. So here is the serratus anterior. It is coming and connecting to the medial border of the scapula. We also have the serratus posterior. It's not as impressive. It's actually the serratus posterior inferioris. It is right here. And this muscle is going to pull down on your ribs to help you exhale. So that's another, you have a lot of muscles that help you exhale apparently. So here is the serratus posterior inferior muscle. It pulls your ribs to help you exhale. Serratus anterior, serratus posterior inferior muscle. You also have this muscle that runs the length of the spine. There's actually 3 muscles here. And I like to call them the erector spinaea group because I can't see the connection point here. I can't see the terminal point. I know they're erector spinaea muscles, but unless I could see this side and this side, I don't know which one it is. I actually do, but I wouldn't torment you for that one. Now, my favorite muscles are up here. I have a lot of favorite muscles, don't I? These are the rhomboid muscles. That's the rhomboid major. That's the rhombus minor. Why are these my favorite muscles? They're rhombuses. Who doesn't like a rhombus? A four-sided figure that does not have right angles. So rhomboid major, rhomboid minor. They are going to cause your scapulas to basically go together. Now, we talked about the infraspinaeus and the teres major right here. I'm 99% sure this is the teres minor. So here's our blown up view of those muscles. This is the rhomboid major. That's the rhomboid minor. This is the teres major right here. And the teres minor is hiding underneath it. And here is the erector spinaea group. See, there's only part of one on this one. Now we have the infraspinaeus right there. This muscle up here is the supraspinaeus. Again, on our muscle man, I don't know why they took everything off the scapula, unless that muscle was really the teres minor to show the teres minor. So scrolling down a little bit, here is the serratus anterior, again attaching to the medial border there. This is the serratus posterior inferior muscle. And you can see the external intercostals do actually go all the way around. So rotate the trunk again. I suggest just using the play and stop button. The plus buttons that appear are going to give you zoomed in views. You could actually get it right if you click on that button. It's the right view. So thank you very much. Have a good day.